Okay. Happy Monday, everybody. What a weekend. Hijacking is going to be the central theme of today's show. I enjoyed a Sunday away from the media, as I always try to do. It's good to detach yourself, and using Sunday as a day to do that, it has been great. I love doing it. I got to enjoy watching the U.S. men's hockey team take the gold medal. That's for the first time since the Miracle on Ice in 1980. Jack Hughes was the hero, scored the game-winning goal in overtime, and watching his post-game interviews, talking about the team and his pride in being an American, it was awesome. And just when you think we can have just a good American moment, think again. I woke up Monday and I plugged back into everything, and we have Noah Tishby, who served as the special envoy to combat anti-Semitism, post this after Jack Hughes scored the game-winning goal in overtime. Jewish hockey player Jack Hughes scores the game-winning goal to win Olympic gold for Team USA. U.S. Ambassador to Israel, as you can see, Mike Huckabee reposted this saying, What? The guy scoring the goal for the first USA gold medal in hockey since 1980 is a Jew. Oh my. I'm sure the Jew haters will say Mossad was behind it. I say just celebrate the incredible victory for the USA and be grateful for Jack Hughes's love for USA and his teammates. Well, we were, and that's what we all wanted to do. We all wanted it just to be a good American moment that maybe we could just all enjoy together for once. But nope, nah. Since his mother is apparently part Jewish, despite the fact that their father is Catholic and they went to Catholic school, he and his brother, growing up, we've got to make it about this. How annoying. Just how annoying. But that's an example of the hijacking that a lot of us non-Zionists are just getting sick and tired of right now. This is exactly what they tried to do with Charlie Kirk, and what Erica Kirk's best friend, Tracy Martin, attacked Candace Owens for in a podcast with Graham Allen. Just wait until I show you the evidence these two dropped against Candace Owens that debunks her, makes her a liar. You guys aren't going to believe this. Sense the sarcasm. Allen also published an intro video to this podcast that literally had me bursting out laughing that you're about to see. But first, we have to hit on this very important part of Tucker Carlson's interview with U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee. This is precisely why the U.S. Ambassador to Israel cannot be a Christian Zionist. We are compromised, you guys. There is no question about it. Because it leads not just to statements, but real political maneuvering. This has real life global political consequences that I'm about to show you. Tucker also responded to the video that the Israeli government put out proving that he was a liar. And I talked about this last week. You guys know this, for claiming that his team was detained and interrogated by Israeli officials. I want to remind you, this is the video that was put out. Eyal Jacoby put this out on X, and it states, this is VIP security. He signs the document, smiles, hugs the airport security, smiles for a photo, cracks a few jokes, leaves within 5 seconds. Tucker Carlson is a total fraud, that says. We are going to begin with Tucker's response and the truth about what really happened. I'm Zach Costello.
The Israelis apparently went, probably with the help of Mike Huckabee, went to the surveillance tape inside the diplomatic terminal and pulled some clip. And they're, of course, getting all their little bots online to promote it, of me with my arm around somebody to show that actually I'm lying about what happened. That person was our driver who drove us from the plane to the terminal, a short drive. Very nice guy, good guy, Israeli guy. And right when we arrived, and he said, could I get a picture? Of course. He's a nice man. So I just put my arm around him, took a picture, That's what that is. That was before the interview. It was before our producers were hassled by the thugs and asked ridiculous questions. It was before any of this happened. So that's just another installment of the propaganda war. Thought we'd give you the backstory on that.
So is Eyal Jacoby going to issue a retraction on this blatant piece of Israeli propaganda that he decided to put out? At least he should disclose that he's on the payroll. What this means, as it turns out, is that Israel dropped a fake video to make Tucker Carlson look like a liar. So they'll manipulate videos to create narratives about things. Noted. Some of us are suspicious they did that elsewhere. It also wasn't just the Israeli influencer who put this out. You had the entire Zionist lobby pushing this on everyone. The truth of the matter is after the interview, Mike Huckabee, Israel, wanted to flex its muscles on Tucker. That is what this all comes down to. And ultimately, why? Why? It's for being an opponent of Zionism. That is the fact. Tucker Carlson is the most prominent anti-Zionist figure in America. And they wanted to let him know, hey, we're watching you. During his interview with Mike Huckabee, I thought Tucker did a good job of getting Huckabee to admit the political implication of what being a Zionist actually means. This was an incredibly important and most revealing part of their conversation, and why no Zionist should hold the position of the U.S. ambassador to Israel. Listen to this exchange.
To Genesis. Genesis 15 says it's Abram, it's pre-Abraham, it's Abram, receives from God the news that his descendants will inherit the land. And you tell me as the theologian if I'm getting this wrong, but from the Euphrates to the Nile. I think that's right. And that would include like basically the entire Middle East. That would be the Levant. So that would be Israel, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon. It would also be big parts of Saudi Arabia and Iraq. It would be,
I'm not sure it would go that far. I mean, it would be a big piece of land, but here's the point.
It would be a lot of places that are now countries.
But this particular area that we're talking about now, Israel, is a land that God gave through Abraham to a people that he chose. It was a people, a place, and a purpose. We can look at it that way. Christian Zionism, I want to go back because that's where we started.
I'm not going to let you off on this because you have said it 3 times that God gave this land to this people. And so it is entirely fair for me with respect to ask, what land are you talking about? Because I just read Genesis 15, as I have many times. And that land, I think it says, from the Nile to the Euphrates, which is, once again, basically the entire Middle East. So God gave that land to his people, the Jews, or he didn't. You're saying he did. What does that mean? Does Israel have the right to that land? Because you're appealing to Genesis. You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all. But I don't think that's what we're talking about here today.
What would be fine? Well, it's exactly what we're talking about today.
But here's what I don't think
you think it would be fine if the state of Israel took over all of Jordan?
They don't want to take it over.
Okay. So do you understand the problem with the Zionism now? It's not just Israel has the right to exist. This is what they keep trying to say. Mike Huckabee even tried to state this as the definition. But this reveals the true meaning of it right here. It is that Israel has a divine right to the land, and this justifies a Jewish supremacy and imperialism. Tucker is 100% correct as to the land promise in Genesis. And Huckabee's answer is that they don't want to. It's okay because they don't want to. But that isn't the point. The point is, it would be justified if they did. And Christians reject this outright. That is very important for you guys to understand. To reject this, though, and this is where things get real for us as Christians of Orthodox traditions who do not believe in Zionism, which is the belief, like I just said, that the current state of Israel is the biblical Israel and that they have a divine right to this promised land. This is anti-Semitism according to the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, who will monitor, track, disrupt, and report you to the FBI, because what it really means is this. Listen.
Anti-Semitism, right? It comes from Europe, comes from Austria, the late 1800s. The term was coined to say, I am not anti-Jewish. I'm an anti-Semite, because the Semitic people are a different race. So I'm opposed to that race. And that's a science-based view, not a personal belief, as if it was grounded in some empirical truth. And of course, that culminated in the Shoah, and all these pseudoscience were exposed as frauds. And so you had an anti-faith-based hatred of Jews. You had an anti-race-based hatred of Jews. And today, you have anti-Zionism, which is sort of a political hate of Jews. Well, I don't hate Jews for their faith or their race. I hate them for their state. And the same tropes, like blood libel. So, there was a time they said Jews killed Christian babies to make their matzah, which is absurd.
Right, but it really is repeating itself, that sort of trope. And you really see it, and it's so blatant and clear.
It's blatant, it's clear. Again, you can see it. You can connect the dots and see how this traces through history. So this notion that the Jews want to kill Palestinian babies is bananas. It's a kind of blood libel. But unfortunately, in the world of social media, these things get a kind of currency they wouldn't ordinarily. And we're dealing with the repercussions of that now.
So according to, and that's the CEO of the ADL, his name is Jonathan Greenblatt. He says that when you are anti-Zionist, what you really mean is that you hate Jewish people because of their state. And again, that is the CEO, Jonathan Greenblatt of the ADL, who, remember, has over 40 full-time employees monitoring, tracking, and reporting to the FBI what they deem as anti-Semitism, which is anti-Zionism, as you just heard. Not only that, the ADL sends cases out to networks of thousands of lawyers. They find what they come across through their monitoring activities, and the things that they find, they send out to a large network of lawyers to see if they'll take up the cases and wage lawfare against anyone that they deem anti-Semitic. They are also leading the charge lobbying the repeal of Section 230, which protects social media companies as the town square. If they succeed, and to note, Lindsey Graham has a bill in right now called the Sunset Section 230 Act, which repeals Section 230. Social media companies would then be opened up to potential lawsuits for allowing anti-Semitism on their platforms, anti-Zionism. You guys, do you see where this is going? It's censorship, it's lawfare, and it's crackdown by the federal government. You might remember, too, that the ADL, in the last 6 months of Charlie Kirk's life, labeled Turning Point USA an extremist organization. Why? Some of the things Charlie Kirk was saying about Israel in the last months of his life were considered extremist, anti-Semitic. You might have thought that Charlie Kirk was a never-wavering Zionist. Anything to the contrary. And that, my friend, is the hijacking of his legacy led by, we all know who, Candace Owens. Before we get to that, though, because that's what Tracy Martin and Graham Allen really hammer on, we're going to take a quick break for today's sponsor. This threat to your smile is something that is silently happening to your gums. More than 78% of people worldwide experience gum recession that develops slowly over time. In the United States, nearly 50% of adults over 30 already show signs of gum disease. And by the age of 65, that number reaches almost 60%. Gum loss is not just cosmetic. It exposes tooth roots, increases sensitivity, can lead to decay and even tooth loss. The problem is that the standard toothpaste do not rebuild gum tissue. Many mask symptoms, never addressing the root cause, and consist of fluoride and harsh additives. Smile changes everything. It is the first ever fluoride-free peptide toothpaste designed to assist in the reversal of gum loss at the source. Peptides like BPC157 and GHKCU support natural tissue repair. Nano-hydroxyapatite strengthens and remineralizes teeth. Whiten without peroxide while soothing botanicals like blue spirulina and aloe vera calm sensitive gums. The result is stronger gums, healthier teeth, and a brighter smile. Get 10% off plus free shipping. Head to twc.health/Zach and use code Zach. That's twc.health/Zach and use code Zach to get 10% off plus free shipping for U.S. residents only. So Graham Allen hosted Erica Kirk's best friend, Tracy Martin, to set the record straight and get us all in truth with real evidence about what happened and why Tracy Martin's daughter didn't show up to UVU like she was supposed to on September 10th when Charlie Kirk got killed. I have to show you guys the intro video to this first, though. I honestly burst out laughing right in the middle of it. And watch this before we get into the meat of what they had to say.
That's what Candace lied about. Call us on it, Candace. We dare you. Call us on it.
Ooh.
What is truth? Is it feelings? Is it tips you heard from other people? Is it just saying whatever you have to say to make the money that you want to make? Candace Owens has made an entire career over the past 6 months.
I want to stop it right there. Candace Owens has made an entire career over the last 6 months. Bro, who wrote your script? Who wrote the script? Fire them. Fire them. Oh my gosh, an entire career over the last 6 months. Okay, let's continue. But that's the part that literally I was watching this and I was just like, what are you talking about? Here we go.
Saying her beliefs or her feelings or her tips that most often turn out to be lies in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. No one has felt the brunt of this more than Charlie's widow, Erica Kirk, and his children. I myself have been attacked along with so many others, so we finally started to decide to, how would Candace put it, ask questions about the very people that are just asking questions. Now, Candace Owens would have you believe that we're trying to silence her. We're trying to racially profile her. We're trying to cover up for something. But we believe in the truth. We believe in debunking the lies with actual facts, not hearsay, not a tip line. No, the actual people that Candace Owens is single-handedly ruining lives.
Okay, all right. You heard it right there, guys. You heard it right there. They're for debunking the lies with actual facts, not hearsay, not a tip line, the real stuff. Okay, fair enough. Good. We've been waiting for it. Just been asking questions, just waiting for real answers that give us the real truth. And like, that's a good thing, right? You think we're going to get somewhere. We're going to get somewhere with this conversation. They're going to give us real, actual evidence that Erica Kirk was where she said she was on September 10th. Tracy Martin didn't warn her daughter to stay away at the last minute. We can actually get answers and move on from this item. That's what we've been trying to do, right? Great. Well, here's what they provided. And just to make this clear, I didn't cut this clip. I did not cut this. I pulled this directly from Graham Allen's X. He put this on X himself. Watch.
Candace Owens went on this tear where she said, essentially, that you called your daughter, who works for Erica, the day before Charlie's, or very soon before,
right.
Charlie was murdered at UVU. That is what she said, and she has used that as a conspiracy that you had prior knowledge, potentially, of Charlie's assassination, that Erica definitely had prior knowledge of Charlie's potential assassination. Or she would say, I didn't exactly say that, but she insinuates.
Right,
And
the implication.
she has affected your family's life.
Yes.
So let's set the record straight, shall we?
Absolutely.
Your daughter works for Erica's Proclaim clothing line
Yes.
and Bible 365.
Yes.
She's never worked for Turning Point USA.
No.
And this conversation that you had with your daughter on you don't know how you feel about her traveling with Charlie and Erica more happened months in advance,
Yes.
not the day before or days before Charlie was murdered.
No. No.
That's a mighty big difference
Yeah.
than the narrative that Candace Owens
Yeah.
has been pushing.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. What are we doing? What is this? This is a complete joke. This is a complete joke. Honestly, it's like there's question marks after those yes and no's from Tracy Martin. I mean, that is convincing stuff, you guys. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Did you warn your daughter? Did you have foreknowledge? Just a general question. Did you have foreknowledge of something dangerous happening, and did you warn your daughter? No. Like, what are you doing? No hard evidence whatsoever here. This is the individual under question just saying yes and no as somebody else speaks for them. This is what would be called hearsay. Oh, well, okay, we believe you, Tracy Martin. What are we doing? Candace Owens had said that Erica Kirk's assistant, who is Tracy Martin's daughter, was supposed to travel to UVU with the production crew with Charlie Kirk that day and did not. She was supposed to show up for work that day and did not. Why did she not go? And the whistleblower, said that she didn't go because Tracy Martin warned her that she had a bad feeling. If she warned her a month before and told her not to go, the question still remains. No questions answered here whatsoever. Nothing debunked at all. But here it is. Finally, the hijacking of Charlie Kirk's legacy. This is what has them most angry. This is the sin that Candace Owens committed. She doesn't have the right to do this. That right belongs to, well, let's take a listen.
Like she's trying to, it feels like her and other people are trying to claim Charlie.
Right.
And I said in my video that I made, the only people to get to claim Charlie are his Lord and Savior, yes, Jesus Christ, Erica, right, and his children. Like that's right, it. His parents too, but I mean, he's a grown man. He's married with kids. Like correct, it's God, his wife, his children. Was Charlie Catholic? Was Charlie enrolled in OCIA courses and things like that?
No, and it's funny because on the conversation with Candace and I, she brought up all these things, and I know it was because of my relationship with Eric, I'm sure. He was not taking classes. She said that people told her that he just liked the architecture, and so I threw myself into that because my husband's Catholic. My older daughter is Eastern Orthodox Catholic. I love going to the church to sit in it in reverence and tradition. Beautiful. Yes, that's literally, and again, it's not that deep. That's literally what it was. So he was not Catholic. He was not taking classes. He was doing none of those things, you know? And so I think that whenever you try to, and put it in your words, claim something, again, you're hijacking the actual message of Charlie's faith and questioning where it comes from, what the foundation is. And I think Charlie was crystal clear in that. Yeah. And so to try to, again, poke holes in this and hijack this is what Candace is doing. And even in this situation, which she doesn't get to do that.
So I want to say this, guys, because this is important. This isn't about necessarily being Catholic or Charlie becoming Catholic. You guys get that, right? What this is really about is Charlie moving his Christianity away from Christian Zionism toward a more orthodox perspective. This is the issue. And they cannot have that because he needs to be remembered as an unwavering friend of Israel so that they can continue his legacy under the Erica Kirk-led Turning Point USA 2.0. Charlie Kirk wore a St. Michael the Archangel medal. That's a very Catholic thing to do. He was poking around at Catholic masses. He had a Catholic funeral, which I'd assume that he did so because it was in his will. So clearly there was some curiosity, but their attempt to bury it, that is what's so alarming. And we all know why. I said this in my debate with Lisa Knows on Friday. One of the most valuable contributions that Candace Owens has made to this entire investigation was expose the treatment that Charlie received from Zionist donors, from pro-Israel donors who made his life a living hell the last 6 months of his life. When the Zionists coordinated in the immediate aftermath of his death, she is the one who stepped up and exposed the Hamptons meeting and the famous text message of Charlie saying that he was going to leave the pro-Israel cause. I have no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause because of the stereotypical behavior of Jewish donors. Megyn Kelly then shared the videos of Charlie talking about his frustrations with being called an anti-Semite and being morally blackmailed for his shifting views. Megyn also published the video of Charlie telling Tucker to go Max, which Tucker did in that summer event. And that speech brought on the onslaught of his Zionist donor displeasure. In fact, that was one of the main drivers for that Hamptons intervention. Candace Owens hijacked Charlie's legacy away from the Zionist who tried to claim it right away. And what this has created in the wake of Charlie's death is not some trivial left versus right debate, but it has awoken a deep and historical religious debate that has needed to be had for a long time. We as Christians believe and trust in God's will. God wills the death of martyrs for specific reasons. Charlie Kirk, I believe to be a Christian martyr, and his death to spark a revival of the true Christian church. And that, I believe, is what we are seeing. Okay. I was reading from the book of Revelation this weekend as it relates to Zionism. And this is what I want to read today. And then I'm going to provide you with a commentary on this specific verse from Fulton Sheen, which I think is very relevant and very good. One of the things that I think is cool about the book of Revelation is that in the vision that John has when he's on the island of Patmos, he describes instructions to 7 churches. And what I think is cool about this is like these instructions to the 7 churches that he's talking about, 7 is considered a complete number, biblically speaking. So what this, like he's giving specific instructions to these 7 bishops across these 7 churches that he's talking to, but this is actually like universal instruction, which I think is really cool. These 7 instructions apply not only to the church at the time, but to the church universally and at large at all times, which is something that's really cool, I think, about the book of Revelation. But anyway, so he writes this message to the bishop in Smyrna. Okay? And to the angel of the church, so he's to the angel of the church, it's the bishop of the church in Smyrna. I write, I know your affliction and your poverty, even though you are rich. I know the slander on the part of those who say that they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Do not fear what you are about to suffer. Beware, the devil is about to throw some of you into prison so that you may be tested, and for 10 days you will have affliction. Be faithful until death, and I will give you the crown of life. Let anyone who has an ear listen to what the Spirit is saying to the churches. Whoever conquers will not be harmed by the second death. So that is Revelation 2, verses 8 through 11. And now Fulton Sheen issued a commentary on this, which I thought was incredible. And that reads this. Let me get to that. Let me find it. Okay, this is commentary titled The Bishops of Revelation, which Fulton Sheen wrote in a book or a letter called Treasure in Clay. The Lord was not too pleased with his bishops as they appear in the book of Revelation. John the Evangelist was on the Isle of Patmos, exiled because of his faith. There he writes about the first bishops of the early church, whom he calls angels of the respective churches. There is no doubt that he is talking of the local authority and how it is being exercised in the community. Through these churches, with the bishops at their head, Christ exercises his power and renders his judgment about each one. The truer the church is to Christ, the greater will be her tribulation. That is such an incredible line. The truer the church is to Christ, the greater will be her tribulation. But it is in the midst of this church, with all of her faults and failings, that the Lamb bears away sin. And this is the last line here that I want to emphasize. The church is not made up of saints, but of sinners who are trying to be saints. The church is not made up of saints, but of sinners who are trying to be saints. I thought that was incredible commentary. And I thought that what John is communicating there, what Christ is communicating through the book of Revelation to these bishops, which apply to that church at the time and apply to church at all times, is the truer the church is to Christ, the greater the tribulation. And there is an ideology that has always been hostile toward us as Christians. And that is something that we need to be aware of and keep in mind. Okay. All right, guys. That's going to be it for today. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. And as we get into the week here, we will be paying attention to obviously everything that is going to be coming out. Highly anticipated Candace Owens' return to social media. I know she's been working on her Erica Kirk series, and that is going to be pretty interesting to see what comes out, to say the least. To say the least. So we'll see what that comes out, and we'll cover what's needed and what's necessary. But thanks for watching today, and we'll be continuing to keep the fight on over the course of the week. I will see you guys tomorrow.